Hey Soapy folks, this is Kevin with Divinely Designed, and I'm going to do rebatching for the very first time. So I've watched a few videos and read up on it, and I have some soaps that were rejects, or I have shavings from when I've cleaned up soaps, and so I thought I would try to rebatch some of it. Now, when you're rebatching, you take your soap and you need to grate it very fine so that when you remelt it, the remelting process doesn't take a million hours. So I had started to do this by hand, and let me tell you, grating soap by hand is no fun. So I have an old Cuisinart food mill that I very rarely use anymore. So it has one of those grating blades on it. So I'm going to use that. And I've already grated some. So I just wanted to show you kind of what happens. So for this, you just sort of stick it in the hopper. And I have, this soap was a reject. This is an end piece sort of cut off. And I have some shavings here. I'm just going to put in here. Now, I did try to keep the colors kind of consistent. My reject soap is mostly white with some green in it. And then I chose other soaps that were white, so most of this is white. Okay, now this is going to be loud, but I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to push down on the plunger, and this blade will spin around, and it will grate my soap. Okay, so let me tell you that is much quicker than doing it by hand. And so I grated up a bunch already. You can see that this makes it pretty fine into nice little shreds. Okay, so let's take the shreds, and now we're going to travel. Oh, that's the phone. Alright, we're just going to ignore the phone for a second. Alright, so I have my crock pot here, and I have it set on low. Now you can see I've already grated up a bunch of soap, so this is full. And I haven't weighed my soaps beforehand. Now I know some people will weigh them so that they know what mold, what size mold to use. But this is my first time doing it, and I just want to kind of fill up the crock pot and see how much soap I get. I have a couple of molds I can use, so I didn't weigh them beforehand. I'm just filling this up. And I'm just going to add this to my shaved soap that's already in here. Okay. And this is on low, and I'm going to let it sit on low for a while. Now I have added a ½ cup of water. And just to get things started, because this is a lot of soap actually. Well, it's not that much actually. It's probably around 3 pounds or so, because it's almost an entire loaf of my reject soap. All right, so I'm going to let this sit on low and let the soap start to melt and come back in a little bit. And we'll stir it, and we'll see if we need to add more water. Okay. So stick around after the break. Okay, folks, this is Kevin. I'm back. It's been about 45 minutes, and I didn't add any water. I did stir it once or twice, and I did increase my temperature to high, just because low really didn't seem to be doing a whole lot. So I'm just going to give this a stir, and I'm just sort of pulling the stuff up from the bottom. And it's starting to melt. Okay, so I'm just kind of stirring in the melted stuff with the shavings, and that's it. I'm probably going to end up adding some more water or liquid. I'm considering adding some milk, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to let this cook because it's already cooked down quite a bit. So I don't want to add too much water. Even though as soon as this soap is all done, you could use it. If you add a lot of water, then you end up with a very soft soap that melts in the shower very quickly. So you want to add as little liquid as possible. All right, so we're going to let this, I'm going to cover this, let this sit, and we'll be back. Okay. Okay, folks, it's been a couple of hours actually since I started. 12:30, about 3 hours total. I added a total of 1.5 cups of liquid, 1 cup of water, and 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And I used heavy cream simply because I had it in the fridge and didn't have any plans for it, so I didn't really want it to go bad. So you can see it's pretty loose, but it's still, it's thick. I mean, as soon as you take this off the heat, really, it'll start to firm up. So I can still smell some of the original fragrance, which from my my batch was a Christmas scent, a Christmas tree scent, and so I can still smell it. It's still pretty strong, not strong, but I can get a whiff of it every once in a while. So I'm going to add some fragrance, and I'm going to keep it sort of a Christmas theme. I don't even know what I'm going to do with these soaps. I may give them away. There's a women's shelter close by, and I may give them that. I want to stick blend it though, so I'm actually going to add another 1/2 cup of liquid. Now, I don't know, this is my first time. This is probably a lot of liquid, I'm guessing. Because I bet you this is going to make it pretty loose. Well, that's fun, look at that. But I want to stick blend it because I still have some chunkier bits in here, and I'd like to get it nice and smooth. So I want to keep it loose, stick blend it, and then I'm going to let it, I guess, evaporate a little bit more. I did add a little bit of titanium dioxide to this to try and lighten it up a little bit, but I mean, it's the green that was in the soap already sort of took over. So I'm going to just go with that. I'm going to try and add a little bit more color, just to maybe do kind of a very basic swirl. But let me try stick blending this. Okay. Like I said, I did that mostly just for consistency. I mean, there were some lumps in there. I wanted just to try and make it a little smoother. That's really all. That's really the only reason I did that. And I think it helped. I mean, it definitely feels smoother. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, well, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. I don't even know that I'm going to let it evaporate any, because I think it's going to firm up pretty quick when I take it off the heat. Okay, so let me, I'm going to try and divide the batter in half. Let me turn the heat down too. Okay. I have some shamrock from Celestial Colors. And I'm just going to try and mix it kind of on one side over here. Okay. I think that should be good. Alright, I'm going to turn the heat off, I guess, actually. And then I'm going to check my temperature. (180), 186. Okay, we're 180, 190. So I want to let that cool. I'm going to be using Santa's Spruce from Brambleberry. And I'm going to let this cool for a little bit, but I don't want to add this yet. I'm going to look up the flash point while I put you on hold also, just so I know what the temperature is. But I'm just going to put a little bit of fragrance in. I still get a sort of a Christmassy note to it. And so I'm just adding the Santa Spruce to kind of enhance that. And then I have a mold, and I'm going to put it in a mold. But I'm going to check the flash point and let this cool down a little bit. Okay, be right back. Okay, folks. I took my the ceramic part out of the crock pot and just put it on some trivets just to cool it down a little quicker. The flash point for Santa Spruce is 150, and that's right where I am right now. So I'm not going to add a lot because, again, I already sort of still smell the other Christmassy fragrance. This is nice spruce. So I just added a little squirt of each. I'm just going to stir that fragrance in. Okay, I might add one more squirt to each side, I think. Okay, that should be good. Okay, I'm just gonna try to do like a little swirl or just right here in the pot, in the crock pot. Okay, just real sort of basic. All right, and then into a mold it goes. Let me just tap this down a little bit first. Okay, I'm just trying to get kind of a smooth top. I don't know that I will succeed. Okay, I just use my hand to sort of press it down. And that's one. And I probably don't have enough for a whole mold here, but I'll put the rest of this in his mold. Sorry, I'm off camera here. I'm just putting it in the mold. I have a couple projects going on today, so my counter is kind of... Okay. That will probably give me about 1-inch thick bars, so I might just cut that into, fourths or so. not cut it like a loaf. So, all right, so that is it. That is rebatching. I'm gonna let these cool, and then I guess I'll come back and do a cutting for them as well, so you can see that. Okay, so stick around. Hey everyone. Okay, so here we are, ready to cut the Rebatch soap. And I put it in the fridge just to sort of, firm it up some more. And it's, I don't know, been about 3 hours maybe. Now the top is very chunky looking, but the side and the bottom aren't bad. They're kind of smooth. Okay, so not too bad. It has like that Christmassy pine kind of scent. It's not bad. Now you can still see some of the chunks of the soap in there. You can see like there's a sliver, there's some up there. So I mean, I had that in that crock pot for a long time, and it just looks like not everything melted, but it's not bad. The swirls kind of came out okay, and the other green is not the greatest green, but that shamrock's a pretty nice green. Okay. That was that one. And then I had this one left over. And I think I'm just going to cut that kind of in half, I think. And then maybe in half again. Okay. So that's not a bad size for a bar. I have some vacation time, so I'm off for like a week. I think I'm going to let these rest. I don't know, they don't need to cure. They're not really soft, but they could probably benefit from a couple of days, if not a week or so, of just sitting out in the air, drying out a little bit, losing some of that moisture that we put in there. So I'll probably do that, and then I think I'm going to wrap them up. I think I'm going to cut these down a little bit. These are pretty big. I mean, they're okay, but I think I'm going to give them to a women's shelter that's nearby. So I might cut them in half again, and then wrap them, with some tissue paper, a nice ribbon or whatever, and just drop them off for the shelter. So, okay, so that's rebatching. I have to say, I'm not a fan. It was a lot of effort to get this, and the soap, I can do so much more with cold process, and so I like to do the designs, and I don't know. It was a lot of work, I think, for this result. I think maybe I don't want to waste the soap, the scraps that I have. So I know there is a charity out there that takes soap, I think. So I might look into that and just send them my scraps instead of rebatching, which I just found really tedious. So, all right, anyway, thanks for watching. Comments, questions, leave them below if you like and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about rebatching. Like it, love it, hate it. What do you guys do? All right, talk to you all later. Bye.